Hello, good morning, Benga Ayannuga.
Yeah, good morning, Kingsley. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Thank you so much for being there and for joining the conversation. We appreciate it. All right. So, very quickly.
Hear you loud and clear.
Can you hear me?
Loud and clear.
Fantastic. Oh, great. All right. So let's. We've established what happened, and I'm sure that you've been following the story closely. And that video. What do you make of the video where Seun, assaulted the police officer who was in uniform on 3rd Mainland Bridge? That reportedly happened on 3rd Mainland Bridge. Let's hear your thoughts on that.
Well, for me, it's a multifaceted issue, but no matter how we want to look at it, Seun has no right to assault a police officer in uniform, because you have the Foba cooking JB, that is, he who answers to the king or who works on the order of the king is never wrong. I've been in situations where police have provoked me. They've told me, we'll just kill you and we'll just dump your corpse in this place, in that place. But I've known that the best thing in that situation, no matter how angry you might get, is to remain as calm as possible. Even the late MQ Abiola says it's only a madman that argues with a man with a gun, and even though or being told his gun at the time, that according to the video that was shown, but what would have been the situation if he were holding his gun and Seun assaulted him like that? Seun claimed to have evidence to prove that the man threatened his life or wanted to kill him and his family, according to his words. But until those evidence can be proven beyond any reasonable doubt, with the little information at our disposal at the moment, I do not see any reason why Seun should have assaulted that man. The person that he has access to the corridors of to make reports. I mean,
all right, so we'll try to re-establish connections with Seun and see what happens. We're not sure network connection there, but let's see what happens in a bit. Brother, with Benga, we're talking about Seun Kuti, the son of Afrobeat legend Fela Kuti. He is trending at the moment, and there's a lot of talk around and about his assault of a police officer around 3rd Mainland or on 3rd Mainland Bridge over the weekend, and that has also been reacted to by the Nigeria Police Force, with the Inspector General of Police Usman Baba ordering the Commissioner of Police in Lagos to arrest Seun Kuti. All right, let's re-establish connections with Benga Ayannuga.
I'm sorry for the bad network.
Yeah, it's fine. Now that we're reconnected, yes, you were talking about the fact that he has access to the corridors of power, and he should have,
yes, he should have channeled his energy into reporting if truly he feels that the man constitutes a threat to his life in one way or the other. Because at the end of the day, we can only see pictures or videos where he was assaulting the officer, and the officer was telling not to retaliate, not to pay back in kind the action. And being a public figure, we must be careful of the kind of image we make. I mean, especially now that we have issues of citizens killing police officers, like the situation we had over the years in some states in the southeast, where police checkpoints are intermittently ransacked and officers on duties killed. I mean, it got to a stage in some states in this nation that officers cannot even wear their uniform to work again. And you see, there's an adage that says dancing starts from the movement of the hand. It is from the hand that dancing starts from. If we do not meet such situation where people will feel because they are superstar that they can assault police in the board, we will have anarchy on our hands that might spiral out of control. that does not exonerate the officer in question. While we are talking from the angle of not encouraging such incident to fester, if you have been victim of police assault before, you will know that there are many things police will do to you that you may not even have evidence. There was a time as a journalist when I went to cover a story, and the police, the leader, told me they were going to kill me, told me they were going to kill my cameraman. We were lucky enough to have given the disc we recorded some of the incidents on to one intern that followed us to cover that event, and that intern had run away. You know, so when they seized our camera, it broke the card, the disc that is in the camera, in order to destroy the evidence. And they kept us, close to our TV station then, you know, and nobody knew. It was one of our staff that came around that was joking with one of his friends in the station, that the friend secretly told him that your people did me, our God don't arrest them.
Wow.
He was the one that went and called our MD, who came to rescue us.
Wow.
If not, they were planning to transfer us and we would have disappeared for only God knows how. So I've been a victim. I know many of my colleagues who have been in this industry, been a victim. I can tell you several examples where police will kill you, just dump your body somewhere. Some will even tell you, plant gun on you and say you are an armed robber. So, and this thing can provoke someone to anger, can provoke you to want to slap them or but at the same time, because we know that when all chips are down, people will not see what led to the slapping. So, which we have to be extra careful and extra smart when we are dealing with these people in uniform. And we don't want to encourage situations where people who don't have excuse to assault officer too will now take advantage, because you saw what happened during the NSAS, where people who had no excuse, who had no issues, people who rightly should be arrested and be sent to jail, were assaulting police stations, burning down police stations, even in Lagos here. So because we don't want to encourage that, that is why I was saying that Seun had no right. You know, but since they've invited him, and I heard that he wasn't available at home when they went to check on him yesterday to bring him to the station. And I think he should live up to his word, where he said that he's going to fully cooperate with them on the investigation and make himself available, so that we don't
Minga, please hold your thought. We need to go on a very short break. Just stay right there. We'll be back in a moment and we'll continue this conversation, right?
Thank you.
103.9. Don't touch that dial.
Finest babe. How do you do it?
My skin gives me the extra confidence to light up the room. That's why I'm deliberate about how I nourish my skin. I use a soap made with the right natural ingredients.
A soap? Which one?
A soap that contains shea butter and aloe vera, turmeric and honey for a glowing skin.
Experience the new Joy Black Soap, made with over 7 natural ingredients that moisturize, restore, and repair your skin, giving you the confidence to be who you love to be. Joy, beauty my way.
When you listen to this station, you learn about your rights. You discover the law in ways you never imagined. You know why? Because we broadcast in your interest.
It's a problem that we are all experiencing in the country. You know, different parts of the country, the same thing is happening. So who do we call on to? Who do we hold responsible?
We impart knowledge.
If the grid is unable to shed the load that it ought to, it could also result in the collapse of the national grid.
Call it what you may, but we are here to stay. The law was never biased, so why should it be now? To every individual, we are Law FM 103.9.
There are no internal electricity boards.
That's right, we're on Law FM 103.9. Thanks for staying tuned. This is the Law FM Morning Show, and we're talking right now about the action of son of Afrobeat legend Seun Kuti, Fela Kuti, that's Seun Kuti, who on Saturday a video went viral of him assaulting the police officer on 3rd Mainland Bridge, and we have Ayannuga Benga talking to us. I keep trying, not to mention Seun when I want to mention your name, Benga. But thank you so much for being there, Benga. I know you guys are guests this morning. You've been talking to us about this. But Benga, while you're still there, we're talking about this, right? Let's very quickly get to what the law says as regards this matter. What should you do? You've said that you condemn Seun's actions, right, in that viral video. But what does the law say as regards this? What should a citizen do when faced with a situation like that? Well, we don't know the full story as of now. We're not sure what happened before Seun confronted the police officer who stood there. He just stood there. That's the policeman now. Just stood there. At some point I saw gestures suggesting that he was pleading, and but what does the law say about that? Counsel Felix will tell us what provisions of it.
The law is perfectly clear. You cannot assault an officer in uniform.
Yeah, an
assault includes verbal assaults. Don't forget.
Yes.
You can't assault even verbally an officer in uniform. So that is why citizens need to be very practical when dealing with officers.
Right, Benga. So we have a legal counsel in the studio, and he's going to be talking to us as regards what's part of the constitution specifically talks about what as regards this particular matter, so that we can learn from this. And we see that the phone lines are buzzing already. Just give us a bit. Let's exhaust this conversation in a moment or two. We'll start taking your calls and contribution, but you can send WhatsApp messages or text messages about the numbers as well. We'll take them in a moment. Counsel Felix.
All right, thank you very much. So, I mean, like Benga rightly said, this matter is very, very dicey because we don't know the full story. And you know that the law presumes everyone innocent until proven guilty. This person has not been condemned by a court of law as guilty. So everyone should take the two sides. You have to hear from the two sides. We've not heard the story. All we saw was a video of him, assaulting a police officer. So let's also wait to hear the other side of his story. But be that as it may, there are some things that we should understand when we want to talk about assault. If you look at the provision of section 34 of the Constitution, it provides that every individual, either you're a police officer, you are not a police officer, you're a civilian, whoever you are, so far you are a citizen of this country, you are entitled to respect and dignity of your person. So nobody, no matter the status or condition or whatever position in life you are, should be subjected to any form of torture or degrading treatment. So that's one thing that we should take or have at the back of our mind. If you also look at the provisions of the criminal code, moving on to the police, the criminal code section 357 makes express provision with respect to issues relating to assault, especially assaulting a police officer, and there are punishment in that particular provision. Maybe with time we'll get to read those provisions so that our listeners out there can also understand. If you look at the Anti-Torture Act, section 2 makes provision. It defines what torture is. So if somebody slaps or somebody pushes you, somebody punches you, headbutts you, psychologically, like Benga also rightly said, it could be physical, it could be psychological, it could be when somebody says something, that could also be assault, and the law frowns at it. And if you look at section 8 of that same Anti-Torture Act 2017, it makes provision for punishment, and you could be looking at 25 years sentencing. Although in the criminal code you have 3 years as punishment, but like we said earlier, everyone is presumed innocent until proven guilty. We have not also heard from the other side.
So what about the case? Would there be justification for what she was done?
Absolutely no justification, because
because you've said that we need to hear his side of the story, right?
Yes.
So I'm saying, even when there was a provocation, which led to that, is there a justification for him to have done that?
Okay, I get your question now. Well, there's self-defense, so it depends on the amount is that defense commensurate with what the police officer said to him initially
or did
to him initially, which we did not see. So we have to look at all these issues before make an informed decision as to what happened.
Let's bring Benga back to the conversation. Benga, you've seen, you heard Council Felix's submission as regards the side of the law as to this matter. Now I just throw this question to you two and say that, well, let's say that his side of the story, assume without necessarily conceding, is that how you said, right? That he was provoked in some way, something led to that. Would there be a justification for him confronting the policeman in that way, in that manner?
Well, like the lawyer had said, until we hear his side of the story, that's why he needs to help us and leave us to his work by cooperating with the officers and bringing all the evidence that he said he has to the table, so that we can look at both sides of the story to make informed decision. Let's not forget also that the law gives room for I think what they are calling provocation. When people provoke you, there is you are entitled to self-defense to protect your person, and but like the law has rightly said, is this commensurate to, and do we have concrete evidence? Because it could just be his word against the officer's word, and like in the officer's case, the officer has a video evidence that I don't think was even put up in the first place by the officer. It was put up by somebody else who who was have been through the altercation.
Yeah. So I think a commuter was just driving past.
And that works in the favor of the officer right now. So if the evidence he claims to have is just a verbal statement, no audio or video record to back it up, then it's going to be a very tight corner for him.
All right. Now, Seun has been seen in a live broadcast, I think on Instagram, bragging about what he did, and also more like instigating Nigerians, to do same. At least going by, if you're going to interpret his language, he said that in that, while speaking in pidgin, he said some, and I'm quoting him directly now, some of them police go slap una go come Instagram to explain. You know how many police I don't tear slap, sounding like
bragging about.
Literally bragging, boasting about what he did, and also urging, instigating, inciting people to do same. Is this something? Is there something there about Seun's attitude or something? Now he's gone on, according to Senior Advocate of Nigeria, human rights lawyer Hemi Falana. He's going to represent Seun according to multiple reports. It feels like, okay, I can do anything and get the best hands in the legal profession to defend me. Is that how you see things?
It's not about getting someone to defend you. Hemi Falana or not, once you get a good lawyer fresh out of the Nigerian bar can defend you and even win, and experienced lawyer depending on what evidence and how you are able to do to present your case. But the issue that we must focus on is that sense of bragging and inciting others, because you see, the cankerworm will start small and then it grows big to a cancer that we may not be able to control, and that is why we must cut it off before it metastasizes. And it is the reason why I am even saying that there is no justification for what Seun has done, especially coming from the kind of household that he came from, the kind of name that he stands to protect, that he needs to protect. Because people might think, oh, the fellas, they are used to fighting, but the fellas that we know fight on just and proper issues, not trying to show off that they can do things and get away with it. So if he must, in retrospect, think of his family name. And of course, let's not forget, the issue of kidnapping, it didn't become a national something. It was in a section of the country that it started. And because the people didn't nip it in the bud when it started, then another section copied, and a lot of people can now lie and say, oh, is this tribe, is that tribe that is doing it. But the reality is that it cut across everybody. So the same thing, many of the bad things happening in our society, they will start small like this, and we need to nip them in the bud. And I think the best that Seun should do is, apart from cooperating with the officers to get the investigation underway, if need be, he should apologize. Not necessarily because he is wrong, but because he wants to discourage such attitudes from the general citizenry. Because as bad as police you might think they are, then you will need a police officer to come to your rescue. That is when you will know how important the work you do in the society is. If your car had broken down once in terrible places before, especially during the days of Governor, when the RRS are always helping people, they are not all about arresting people illegally, like we see them do in recent times. But if you see how they were always helpful to people, you will know that police too, they are very important part of our society, and they must be respected for the job they do. That a lot of them have not lived up to that expectation or respected themselves in the process of carrying out their duties does not mean that we should be in such a way that we now put all of them together in one basket.
Yeah, well said. We see your calls, we see your contributions at exactly 10 minutes past the hour. That's in just 2 minutes or so. We'll take your calls, and we have 15 minutes for that, 15 whole minutes to take your calls and contribution. That from 10 minutes past 10 to 25 minutes, 15 minutes to take your call. So just please hold on there. We see that you really want to join the conversation, but please just hold on a bit. Let's wrap the conversation with Ayannuga, who's a guest. Just as we begin to do that, well, the Police Service Commission has commented on this particular matter, and they said that they are looking forward to the prompt investigation or prosecution of Seun to also serve as a deterrent to other persons who would want to do same or who have been doing same. Well, the Police Service Commission through Dr. Arase did say that's the chairman of the commission, by the way, Dr. Solomon Arase did say that, and I'll quote, we must as civilized people explore established channels of complaints against alleged infractions by law enforcement officials rather than this uncouth behavior in assaulting the symbol of authority in our country. Something you've also mentioned, and talked about. Well, aside bragging about doing such over and over again, well, we cannot confirm when exactly this trending video of him bragging was made. If it was, before or after that one, which has also gone viral, of him assaulting the police officer, but we cannot say right now. But aside that, he's also bragged about his family name, that he's done that because, his last son, right? Even referencing Jesus Christ, that Jesus came to the world to die because he's God's son, and so people must know who they really are to know what they can do and what powers they carry and stuff. I'd like you to close your comment on this note. I know you mentioned something slightly about that, but in closing, what's your thoughts?
The fact that his last son should make him remember the advice of King Odysseus of Ithaca to his son Telemachus in the Greek mythology, that to be angry is easy, but to know when to be angry, where to be angry, why to be angry, at whom to be angry, for how long to be angry, that is hard. He needs to find that first before getting angry, so that he won't get angry at me. because he's Fela's son and has a name to protect, that is why he needs to find all those first, getting angry amiss.
Ayannuga is a social commentator, also serves as a journalist sometimes. I'm not sure these days, but hey, thank you so much for being a part of the conversation and sharing your thoughts on this subject today. Hello, Gbenga. Okay.
You have lesson 1.
All right, there you go. Gbenga, thank you so much for being there, and we appreciate it. That